When we think of children, we recall cute little ones who bring joy to everyone around them. Unfortunately, not all boys and girls are so harmless. History knows many instances where a child became a killer without remorse. Today, we'll look at the top 10 most dangerous children in history. As we count down this list, we will delve into the backgrounds of these children, exploring the factors that may have contributed to their actions. Number 10. Cristian Fernandez. Cristian's story is one of the most tragic and complex on our list. At 12, Cristian Fernandez from Florida became the youngest person in the U.S. to be sentenced to life imprisonment. His case shocked the nation and sparked a heated debate about the treatment of juvenile offenders. Cristian's crime was brutal and senseless, but it also highlighted the failures of the system that was supposed to protect him. Many argued that Cristian was a victim of his circumstances, and that his actions were a result of the abuse and neglect he had suffered throughout his life. Despite these arguments, the severity of his crime could not be ignored. He brutally beat his 2-year-old brother, who died from a skull fracture and brain hemorrhage. The details of the crime were harrowing, and the loss of such a young life was devastating. Cristian's actions were not those of a typical child. They were the result of years of pent-up anger and frustration. This cycle of violence ultimately led to the tragic death of his brother, a loss that would haunt the family forever. Fernandez had previously beaten his brother and even once broke his leg. These earlier incidents were warning signs that went unheeded, and they painted a picture of a child in crisis. Cristian's behavior was a cry for help, but it went unanswered until it was too late. Number 9. Jordan Brown. Jordan's story is another tragic example of a child driven to commit an unthinkable act. When Jordan Brown turned 11, he grew jealous of his father's pregnant fiancée, thinking that the new baby would divert attention from him. While she slept, he shot her in the back of the head with a 20-gauge shotgun. Neither she nor the unborn child survived. The boy's case was a sensation across America. People debated whether to try him as an adult or recognize him as a child who didn't understand his actions. Despite the severity, he served his sentence and was released in August 2018. Number 8. Girl A from Japan. The name of this girl from Japan is kept confidential due to her age. In the media, she was called Girl A. On June 1, 2004, at an elementary school in Japan, she attacked a 12-year-old classmate with a box cutter. After the incident, she didn't hide the body and returned to her own class, with bloodstains on her clothes. A teacher noticed both girls were absent for a long time and went to look for them. Upon discovering the scene, he called the police. The girl underwent a lengthy trial and treatment but has since been released. All this happened because she was teased for her weight. Number 7. The Bever Brothers. In 2015, brothers Robert and Michael Bever became some of the most horrific teenage killers of all time. They lived in Oklahoma. The 16 and 18-year-old brothers attempted to kill their entire family, including their parents and 4 siblings. They managed to kill 5, and their 13-year-old sister survived after being hospitalized. Each was given 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Number 6. Jasmine Richardson. Jasmine Richardson, a 12-year-old girl from Canada, despite her young age, already had a boyfriend and discussed with him the idea of eliminating her entire family. In 2006, together with her boyfriend, they entered her home and took the lives of her parents and 8-year-old brother. The girl's boyfriend claimed he was a 300-year-old werewolf who needed blood to survive. Both were sentenced to 10 years in custody. Number 5. Barry Lukaitis. In 1996, Barry Lukaitis donned his best cowboy costume and headed to the classroom where his algebra class was to take place. Most classmates found Barry's costume ridiculous and him even stranger than usual. They didn't know what he was hiding under that costume. 2 pistols, a rifle, and 78 rounds of ammunition. He opened fire, and his first victim was 14-year-old Manuel Vela. Within seconds, several more people were harmed. He began taking hostages but made a tactical error by allowing the wounded to be evacuated. While he was distracted, a teacher disarmed him. Number 4. Joshua Phillips. Joshua Phillips was 14 when, in 1998, his neighbor went missing. 7 days later, his mother began to notice an unpleasant smell and a humming sound from under his bed. Under the bed, she discovered the body of the missing girl, who had been beaten. When she asked her son, he said he accidentally hit the girl in the eye with a baseball bat. She began to scream. He panicked and kept hitting her until she was silent. The jury didn't believe his story, and he was convicted of first-degree charges. Number 3. Graham Young. Unlike the previous individuals, Graham Young grew up in a prosperous family and did well in school. On one of his birthdays, the boy received a chemistry set from his father, which determined the fate of the future poisoner. Graham began preparing toxic substances. Initially, he experimented on frogs and mice, and then on his classmate. After his stepmother demanded that he stop his dangerous experiments, Graham began adding substances to her food. After her passing, the teenager was detained on suspicion but released. The young genius continued his experiments on classmates. In court, Graham confessed to everything and even boasted about his knowledge and talent. He was sent to a psychiatric hospital where he secretly made toxins and tested them on patients. After release, Graham got jobs several times and harmed colleagues. The poisoner was eventually sentenced to life imprisonment. Number 2. Eric Smith. At 13, Eric Smith from New York committed a shocking act in 1993. Known for his red hair and glasses, Eric was often bullied by his peers. One day, he took out his frustration on a 4-year-old boy, leading to tragic consequences. The case drew national attention due to the young age of both individuals involved. Eric was tried and convicted, receiving a sentence of 9 years to life. After multiple parole hearings, he was released in 2022 after serving 28 years. Number 1. Mary Bell Topping. Our list is Mary Bell, who at the age of 11 became one of the youngest convicted individuals in British history. In 1968, in Newcastle upon Tyne, England, Mary was involved in the deaths of 2 young boys aged 3 and 4. The court found that she had diminished responsibility due to her age and background, which included neglect and abuse. Mary was sentenced to detention and was released in 1980 with a new identity. Her case raised profound questions about how society should handle young offenders and the potential for rehabilitation. Give a like if you're a child, but nothing like those in today's video.